screen, making sure that it's working nice and clean. Let's see how it's going to go up. It is currently offline. Let's see how this thing is going to be coming up. And then we are live, I believe. Live. Yes, we are live, and it has been 12 seconds. So, just go ahead and go and basically tell what's going on here. At the top left, the Anime Communist Party, since we do have a lot of anime guys, meets and everything else. We have Che Guevara down at the bottom, the Che-chan. We have on the right, Hokuto no Ken. That's at the bottom right. You are already dead. Omae wa mou shindeiru. And then we have at the top right, Paul Robeson. Comrade Horse, I just started. Let's see here. Actually have to sit here and change the basic info, so nope, you're not late. Let's see. Wednesday is Thursday. Thursday the 28th. 28th? 2016. And trying to figure out what was it that I wanted to talk about. And one of the things that I actually sat here and got into was Democracy at Work. Richard D. Wolff, he had an article about how capitalism and racism support each other. Something that I thought a lot of people might want to look into. I'll be putting that into the basic info bar. Let's see here. Making sure of all these things. I'll go ahead and put the article also into the chat room so people can see it. Something to definitely look into. Let's see. Stream is up. And I haven't put anything on Lefty Poll, but if people want to sit here, check it out. Let's see. We're going to go ahead, go and use the normal. Dang it, where is that thing on Lefty Poll? Looks like the threads kind of got disappeared. Let me see. Bunker Bands Podcast. Let me go and going on Lefty Poll, basically telling them what's going on, just in case anybody might want to pay attention. Nope, that's being processed. View channel, and we've got the stream for Thursday 28th 2016 processed. View. Alright, sit here and tell people it's up again. Doink. Stream is up. So alright, so if anybody wants to come check it out, they can. Comrade Yui, hey, here we are, rocking like a hurricane. Now if I could actually do the guitar for that, that'd be something interesting. Speaking of guitar, I used to play a lot of Guitar Freaks and Drum Mania. It's a Japanese type of thing, but you don't see a lot of it around here anymore. Basically, it never came over to the United States, but when I was in Japan, I got to see a lot of that. So is this the episode where you talk about vaporware? Vaporwave. Do you mean vaporware or vaporwave? Because I don't know what vaporwave is, but I do know what vaporware is. Something like, you know, things like Half-Life 3. So if you want to see that, let me know, but I can talk about it a little bit. It's not my area of expertise in video games, but I mean, if you want me to talk about it, I sure as hell can. That should be something interesting. How to really put it? If you have more ideas in a game thing, the music thingy, not vaporware in terms of Half-Life 3. I'm gonna have to do some quick research on that because I have no idea. Vaporwave music. What the hell is that? A musical microgenre that emerged in the early 2010s among internet communities. It is characterized by a nostalgic fascination with retro cultural aesthetics, typically of the 1980s, 90s, and early millennium. Video games, technology, postmodern Japanese culture. Oh my god, SJWism is in Japan. Okay, stop. I'll leave that alone. And advertising, and styles of commercial and popular music such as lounge, smooth jazz, and elevator music. Okay. Vaporwave, a brief history, which is 30 frickin' minutes. Vaporwave, know your meme. An anti-capitalist music genre. I'm going to have to take your word for it because one of the first things that I see on Know Your Meme is Laserdisc Visions. Why in the world is that called Vaporwave when Laserdiscs were, commercially viable for Hollywood? But 2814 Atarashi Meno Nantuka Birth of a Chill Wave for Marxists. Okay, wait a minute. What the hell? The collaborative project of Hong Kong Express and Telepath released their second album, Birth of a New Day. Okay, so yeah, that's what I was thinking it was. 58 minutes. Tell me if y'all can hear that or not. I'm not sure if I can. Let me see. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna post this into it so y'all can see it at the very least. Let's see. Birth of a New Day. I don't know if y'all can hear it through the microphone, but I'm actually hearing it through my headphones. Let's see. Blink. Very interesting. Well, it's good to always know a little bit about what in the world is going on. I didn't see this stuff in Japan when I was there, so go figure. A lot of the underground stuff I didn't really pay attention to as I was there. So if it's an anti-capitalist music genre, I'd love to hear more about it. Didn't really know that it was there. Now, Comrade Yui, I don't know if you're blowing my mind about it, but I'm always down to listen to more music. I mean, at the very least, a lot of music, that's how people express themselves and the problems and struggles that they're facing. If you want to know exactly what the black community is going through, you listen to the music, and that sits here and tells you. So, like, I remember listening to Ludacris, and what was going on in Atlanta, it hadn't changed in 10, 15 years. That's where I used to be. I'm not there anymore. Life is a struggle with so many hustles that we can juggle. We all want to rumble. Okay, I'll stop. 2814 is more modern vaporwave. There are older classics. It's meant to be a parody of the absurdity of a capitalist society. Are you talking about consumerism? Okay. Comrade Yui asks, what do you think of Public Enemy? That entire wave of music in the early 90s, that's something that I knew a lot more about. I liked it when it was not commercialized. Now, in terms of the rap nowadays, they took out the we and put a lot more me into it. And now I have to sit here and I actually have to agree with LSR at the fact that they sit here and make scandals because the music is so bad. But Public Enemy, Run DMC, when they were talking about what was going on in the black community, that's when I was most attuned to it. After the 90s, especially after Tupac's death, I really didn't catch the message as much as I used to. So I tuned out a lot of rap. I would probably watch and listen to, the Wu-Tang Clan because they were more Asian than anything. But on top of that, it took me a long time to really find people like Boots Riley, which is something like What Happened. Um, I would have to agree with you that the music has become a lot more individualistic since the 90s. Well, it's been commercialized and it's commoditized. So, basically you have a monopoly of who's going to be on the radio. The radio has been a monopoly since the early 90s. So that's why you're just hearing the same generic crap over and over and over again. You can't really get the good stuff that you used to. So if you really want to sit here and see where people are going, you have to sit here and take care to look into a lot of individual people. You just can't get good music on the radio anymore. I mean, there's only so many times that I can hear Purple Rain by Prince, rest in peace, but I didn't even know of his most recent work, which is talking about Michael Brown, Ferguson, things like that. You have to sit here and you have to go underground to really get the good stuff that is anti-capitalist, that is all this other great stuff. And that's my view on it. Let me see if there's any good stuff in there. Somebody asked Ted Cruz to sign an autograph in a communist manifesto. Oh, sorry, reading the Bunker Chan chat, but the basic fact of the matter is, it looks like my stream has recently come under fire. I'm gonna have to sit here and remove some of these pictures. Great. Which ones should I remove? Unfortunately, the Paul Robeson one is kind of small, so I'm gonna take that one down. Oops, wrong one. Remove it. Unfortunately. Let's see if that's gonna make the stream a little bit better. There we go. Okay. And for the most part, I didn't really have anything planned tonight, except for maybe that democracy at work info type thing. I really do recommend this article because a lot of people don't really understand the difference of why racism is the way it is in America. And without going too much into identity politics, Richard D. Wolff actually hits the nail on the head. Now, if you want to look into the article, Comrade Yui is asking me a question. Why is Mad Max in the foreground of the Soviet flag? That's Kenshiro. Hokuto no Ken. You don't know Hokuto no Ken? Oh man, you have so much to learn. I am going to sit here and look for you. Golly, man. Kenshiro versus Raul. Badass Moments compilation. Here you go. Comrade Yui, this one is for you. No. Don't try to sit here and play this off as a joke. You go get your schooling on. You're welcome. You're welcome, sweetheart. But that was just, basically a point to sit here and give you some Hokuto no Ken. There is always time for Hokuto no Ken. Gas the rich, class war now. Funny thing about that actually reminds me, a lot of people don't really realize that Niccolo Machiavelli, he wanted to do that exact thing. Gulag Putin and Gulag the world, Sputnik. design is a blatant rip-off of Jonathan Joestar. I don't know if that's actually true because Hokuto no Ken has been around since the 70s, around the same time. And what is it with people in JoJo nowadays? Do I really have to sit here and start looking into that anime? I mean, I've seen memes and it just absolutely exploded. Me, I'm into One Piece, so I can't say much. I mean, for God's sake, here, let me see if I can sit here and find my other avatar on here. I'm gonna sit here and see if I can find my old avatar. Nope, it's gonna take too long and I'm lazy. Do 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 do. Ah, here we go. I'm gonna sit here and put this up and oh shoot, it's too large. Remove. I'll get to that one later. First season of JoJo is God tier. The rest is meh. I have not watched JoJo. I'm just starting the manga. Comrade Yui, Machiavelli wanted a meritocracy. He despised royalty. And that is very much true. I mean, there was a lot more to it. But this was a guy that really wanted the government to sit here and basically take care of the mass of people. And he made The Prince, I actually read that entire book, as a satire of the rich, which people take way too seriously as like realpolitik. And now we have a fight between Master Tegan and Comrade Yui about JoJo. And Sputnik is asking, what is JoJo? It's a lot of memes. Oh my god, how many memes is it? Dio was the only saving grace to part 1. Because everything was him. Right now, I'm at the part where basically Jack the Ripper turns out to be a vampire. And he had all these knives in his body. And I'm trying to figure out what kind of crazy mess are they talking about. And then on top of that, you have JoJo, who's basically walking on water. Why? Comrade Yui, Machiavelli was the first liberal. I can agree with that. Maybe the first liberal socialist. I don't know. That's pushing it, but hey. Master, but part 2 is a lot better than part 1 being considered. Okay. Well, y'all keep fighting on that one. I don't know if I should sit here. Question for Comrade Yui though. I was kind of looking at the bunker stuff that you all were talking about. The bunker talk about anarchism and Marxism. I kind of had a question. Did anybody ever look into Crime Think? Because I'm not sure if I know I haven't. But I'm about to sit here and start looking into their 10-part series, possibly this weekend. So that might be something to look into. On my last stream, you can actually see the link into it. Because the fact of the matter is, I don't know much about Crime Think. I don't know much about anarchism. And I don't know who is an anarchist. So I'm kind of asking so I can get a better understanding of it. Like, my main anarchist viewpoint came from, like, the Proletariat TV. And it was really in favor of their type of Marxism and everything else. And it was a really good video for, like, an hour. And I could probably put that in. John Luke said, I'm vaguely familiar with their site and articles. It's associated with the post-left anarchism. Yeah. I don't see much difference between this type of anarchism and the one like from the Emma Goldman era, to be very, very honest. So I'm like left in the dark about a lot of the anarchist movement, especially when I've been moving in and around a whole bunch of Marxists, like Leninists and all these other types of movements myself personally. Like, heavy proletariat TV borders on being heavily tanky. Yes, they do, and I'm not gonna apologize for that. They have their Stalinist memes like down pat. Sometimes I'm like, guys, can y'all just stop the propaganda for like 5 seconds and tell me like what the heck happened? Did I make it? Comrade Horse, we've been talking for the last 15-20 minutes, so you're welcome aboard. I thought you had came in earlier and I said something, but no, you weren't late. You were never late. You can always watch, and there's always going to be a stream at 11 o'clock. I might make it earlier, but before that, I'll probably schedule it and then tell you all about the time change. And that's dependent on you guys, because I won't really have a stream unless there's people here. And I kind of like being able to talk to you guys and see, just basically shoot the shit, because it's been a long day for me. I know I got, like, somebody was upset or angry at me and saying, well, you need to sit here and do the best you can at right beginning of your stream, and you got to sit here and have a lot more energy and all this other stuff, and you don't want to ever talk about things. And I'm like, first of all, I've had a long day. I'm just here to chill. I mean, if y'all want to talk about, communism, socialism, economic injustice, social justice, anything out there, y'all can sit here and talk to me, and I'll sit here and talk to you as if, we were just having a goddamn conversation. I'm really not interested in having a lot of energy at 11 o'clock at night. If somebody wants to pay attention to it, and I'm not going to stop them. Y'all are free to sit here and leave if y'all want. Y'all are free to sit here and stay if you want. All this stuff. I'm not going to repeat that on stream, Comrade Huey. Sputnik, I think we should radicalize SJWs, at least the smarter ones, and try to get them on our side. That won't work for a few reasons. They are cult-minded people. Comrade Yui, I'll get back to you, Sputnik, but let me answer this one real quick. Jamus, what do your friends and family think about your leftism? They really don't know. Like, my family is, it's a decent middle class family. For me, my class politics come from the fact that I used to be poor. So they really don't know a lot about my class struggle, class politics, Marxism, and all that other stuff. And for the most part, I read so many damn books that I came into this and I stumbled into everything by myself. Like, when Lefty Poll first started, I was the one pulling in Gerald Horn and talking about Joey DeGruy and all that other good stuff. But for the most part, I had to figure it out all on my own. Don't have any theories or anything. I just sit here and work with what works for me. So, in terms of radicalizing SJWs, Sputnik, I don't think it'll work. They're cult-minded people, and they have to be taken out of needing this kind of new form of religion. That's pretty much exactly what SJWism is. It's about the identity politics, and then it's mixed in with a little bit of religion, and then you have a lot of demagoguery that basically makes it so that it's very hard to see outside of that need, that religious need for something. It's not a coincidence that as atheism has increased, we've seen a lot more people that have this religious zealotry fall into the SJWism of now. Right now, we're living in a postmodernist era that we can't get those economic problems solved. So what's happening is people are trying to fight these damn culture wars, and they're horrible at them. Like Yui and Exizzy and all of them were talking about this, and I do agree with them, even though I wasn't on the stream, that when they were talking about Sargon and LSR and all these things, they're kind of getting into these fights on the culture war, but they don't sit here and get to the root of the problem, which is why in the hell would you need this feminism in the first place? And nobody's really talking about that, at least in my view, in my opinion. So, not sure what you mean by notorious. Yes, Comrade Horse, I think you're pretty notorious if you're the one doing the horse memes. So, trying to see what's on Lefty Poll. Ask me anything about Marxism Leninism with 94 posts. Yeah, I'll let you all handle that. So, other than that, if y'all have any questions, you're all free to ask me. Like, my main topics of choice, usually I would sit here and talk about the Black Panthers first, because I talk about Bobby Seale and things like that. Comrade Horse. SJWs very rarely allow themselves to leave outside their safe spaces without a group of dumbasses to come to confirmation bias for them. I don't know. I mean, Tumblr has been a pretty good place, but if you destroy that, like you destroyed MySpace, they would sit here and infect the rest of us, and they really can't survive out on their own. It's like, you gotta leave them in the wild, man. Sputnik, ever go on BunkerChan? Yes, I did. I haven't been on there recently. The reason that I used to go on BunkerChan, I had started this radio station idea, and I just really never followed through. I was like, okay, do I want to be on Vimeo? Do I want to be on YouTube? And nowadays, I mean, this is basically going to be my online radio station. It's kind of a place to just vent for a little bit, things like that. So, I used to go, and I stopped going, but I'll probably go back on if it gets bigger, I guess. I mean, for the most part, the only reason that I'm even on 8chan is because Lefty Poll is like the most popular board, for me anyway, because Gamergate, unfortunately, has run its course. Yep, that was me. What? Come on, man, you had to have seen this. Let me see if I can find that image real quick. I'll find the image and I'll post it in the top right. But, I had my communist image that I posted everywhere. The commie-bot. Yeah, that was me. Right edge. Yep, and it fits right there. Yeah, and I really, to be honest, I mean, a radio station really isn't that hard. The hard part is, what do I want to do with it? And how do I want to sit here and make sure that it serves the people that are going to sit here and keep it funded? I don't want to sit here and take corporate funding. So when I set this thing up, I wanted to make it from scratch. It's going to be something that's catered to the left-wing audience. And hopefully in the future, honestly, if I can sit here and start getting funding and doing those types of things, maybe I do Bitcoin, I don't know. But in the future, what I'm hoping to do, set up a format, a 1-hour special. Maybe it's with having an interview, people, talking to people on different sides, different levels, and making this a YouTube station as well as an online radio station to promote left-wing ideals. Now, I like to criticize anarchists, but, I love to work with them, talk to them, and all these other things. And in terms of doing everything that I can for left-wing thoughts and ideals, I mean, the reason that I sit here and look in the past so much, look at what Gerald Horne has to say, I mean, America, for all intents and purposes, has been very, very conservative, and it's been harder and harder to get a lot of, socialist ideas through bear, because we just never can unify on a lot of things. So those are the types of things that I'm really want to work on, and that's why I kind of wanted to set up a radio station, and then possibly in the future do donations, things like that. But at the very least, right now, it's just I'm shooting the shit, that's exactly what I want to do. And possibly in the near future, if we can set up donations and then make this something that you all want to, be a part of in any way, shape, or form, that's kind of what I want to do. What do you think about the Facebook meme page? I really don't use Spybook a lot. It's mainly I have my family on there. I'm on there. I don't put anything on there. Like, I think honestly, with all the Bernie stuff that was going on recently, it's like Facebook is basically Zuckerberg plutocracy. Why in the hell do I want to be on his plantation? I don't get it. But I guess if a lot of people can see a lot of left wing memes, have at it, Hoss. But it's just not something that I do look at a lot. I mean, maybe I should sit here and have like a fake email or something. Go on there, see what y'all are doing, be a part of it, be like, haha. But to me, I got most of my memes from Lefty Pole. I'm not really going to sit here and look at Facebook memes and all those things. Kwame, why haven't you dedicated your existence to the snake ruler of the mind and cosmos and creative life, Damballa? Sorry, man. I mean, Vishnu and Shiva. Shiva's got six arms, or I guess that's what I do. Comrade Yui, Gemus, what are your thoughts on Malcolm X? I think that he was a revolutionary Muslim for the most part. I mean, what he did was he basically gave Malcolm X the freedom to have a nonviolent movement. And the reason that they targeted Malcolm X first is the fact that he was more militant. But this is the man that also influenced Malcolm X, or Muhammad Ali. He influenced SNCC, who was far more militant. That made Martin Luther King far more militant. And for the most part, when I look at Malcolm X, you have to look at Malcolm X just as much as you look at Martin Luther King. If you want to sit here and listen more about it, I would sit here and strongly recommend looking at Sojourner Truth Radio. She does a lot of discussion about Margaret Prescott. She does a lot of work into that. Now, Sputnik. Here's an idea. We should start a lefty YouTube network. Agreed. But again, you're going to have the same problem. How do you fund it? I mean, when you do community funding, all of us don't really have a lot of money. We have to have better ideas. If we take corporate funding in any way, shape, or form, Google is going to shut us down. So we have to be 10 times more careful while we're on Google's platform than anything else. And you got to think, where do we want our message to go? Do we want our message to try to do it on a third-party network and then build that up? Or do we all want to sit here and make it so that we have to do it through a YouTube network, which is also going to catch us a lot of flack with, say, the Sargons, who are disingenuous assholes, and other people that are going to sit here and criticize the lefty YouTube network. And on top of that, you got to think of other issues that are going to sit here and affect us. You have to think about what happens if you lose your YouTube page for using music that you don't, that's going to mess you up. Those are the types of things that are going to mess it up. But you got to sit here and, if you're going to work it, we have to do it collectively. Now, if we do it collectively and we do it right, we can also sit here and begin to influence Google in trying to change the rules by sitting here and doing something with, say, the law, as well as trying to get artists and things like that. So it's a very heavy task, but it can work. And believe me, there are ways to make it work. It's just, it's going to be hard work, and I don't know if anybody is really ready for that quite yet. Comrade Horse, wouldn't be a bad idea, all things considered, but I think we need to have more professional TYT tier channels for that. No, you don't have to be TYT tier. TYT made their thing 10 years ago, and they got better at it. For us, we'd have to sit here and we just have to create the networks. We'd have to sit here and try to go to the most of the left wingers. I mean, I can go and find black nationalists. I can find academics, the intelligentsia. I can find activists and everything else. It's just bringing them together to have a lot more collective impact. Not only just the movements that would sit here and interest them, but also sitting here getting them together to sit here and talk outside of just the lefty forum. Master Tigger, when you're done, on a related note, what's your thoughts on Nation of Islam? I have mixed thoughts on Louis Farrakhan as well as the Nation of Islam. They do some things right, they do some things wrong. In terms of what they did wrong in the past, they made it so that, it was very, very difficult to do, work with Malcolm X that led to his assassination. In terms of what they're trying to do better now. And one of the things that they've done is they've tried to broker deals with Iran to make the United States less likely to basically try to bomb them out of into the Stone Age, which of course that gets into our politics, which is about Hillary Clinton is a retard neoconservative, but that's another story. But for now, I mean, he's done a lot of things right, and I think he's trying to do better in terms of Louis Farrakhan. And the Nation of Islam, I'd have to really look into it a lot more. But when I read about them now at thecall.com, I think, or something like that. And I try to read what is happening with him, what he's speaking about, as well as some of the criticism, the commentary that he's gotten. So it's evolved. I'm just on the preliminary stages of learning the Nation of Islam, and I just don't know all of everything that's happened. Now, the reason that I know the Nation of Islam negatively is because I was looking into the COINTELPRO programs and the things that are happening like that. Where with the youth, what was I trying to do? I was trying to basically look into the ethnic left and basically how Tupac Shakur was murdered. Those are the types of things that I basically look into. So those are the, I would sit here and basically, if you can, look up John Potash, I think that's his name, and the research that he's done about the CIA and the FBI, COINTELPRO, and going after, left-wing leaders, revolutionary types. Jimi Hendrix, Tupac Shakur, Assata Shakur, etc., etc., etc. Comrade Horse, what do you think about the atheist YouTube scene? Oh God, that is like, dear God, I don't even want to, I don't usually get into it. I think it's degenerated into really obnoxious Sargon tier shit, but can it be made better? No. The reason is it's basically become a religion on its own. Atheist Plus kind of sat here and decimated them. They haven't recovered. They're probably not going to recover because they sit here and think, well, you don't need God because God doesn't exist, even though they still have this religious zealotry and this religious type ordeal to make fun of the fact they don't have religion. So they have contradictions out the yin yang. That's the problem with it. Like, do you think someone like TJ could be leftified? I don't think you really want to, because what they make money off of is sensationalism. Sargon, for all his bitching and moaning, he is basically a male version of Anita Sarkeesian. And I'm saying that because the very fact of it is how dishonest he is with left-wing thinkers. Like, for example, everybody was around here trying to debate the guy, and then he runs away. So he runs to his little YouTube pack or his Twitter followers, but he can't respond to actual criticisms received. He ignores those for this, these deceptive points about, say, LSR, I mean, LSR is an easy target for him. And LSR keeps taking the bait. That's the problem with them. So, why would I want TJ on that same side when the videos that I've seen from him do this exact same baiting and tactics as Sargon as well as Thunderfoot? The main thing they do is chum up all this bait because they're basically demagogues. You have to think of them in that regard. They're not, I did a video on this actually on my main YouTube page. Let me see if I can find it for you so y'all can see my views on that one. Because honestly, it's like if you really want to sit here and look into demagoguery, you don't really need to sit here and look and see like from their perspective. Yeah, demagoguery, YouTube stars, and celeb fights. Here's what I had to say about it. And you all, it's 30 minutes long. I'd rather sit here and do a very, very long video and sit here and show you all something than, waste your time with nonsense. But, oh shoot. It does not want to send. Here. I'll just put in the last little bit. You son of a... We're going to try this a third time. Okay, I'm going to put a space. Son of a... Okay. What the heck? The message not sent. Error. Try again. We're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to split this daggone thing up. No, let's see. We're going to try it like this. Links be dead, yo. Yeah, I see that. I'm pissed off, too. We're going to try it like this. Wow. All my stuff is... I can't send nothing through that. Wow. Okay, we're going to try it like this. I'm going to put it into the basic info. Demagoguery. Boom. There we go. And it's going to save. And that's my video on my other channel. Jesus Christ. I can't believe that I couldn't sit here and do it. Now, mainly I was sitting here and taking Thunderfoot to task about it. About one of his dishonest points. He basically sits here and trusts the corporate media. And this is the same corporate media that Gamergate was going against. But a lot of right-wingers have basically sat here and given up that ghost to go right into the same damn thing that they were fighting against. Fucking retards. So I don't have much faith with right wingers. Tupac is still alive. No, he died. Yeah, he died. His family, if you look at the Shakurs, they were all three of them were targeted. It's really messed up what happened to him, and his family had been targeted for years. So, but he seems more open to the social. Comrade Horse, he describes himself as liberal, but he seems more open to the socialist idea thanks to Bernie. Well, of course. I mean, Bernie is basically a New Deal Democrat. I mean, Noam Chomsky even went into that. So, you don't really have to do much to sit here and convince people that's any form of socialism. Remember, the New Deal was made because socialists, communists, and unions basically sat here and said to FDR, if you don't do what we fucking demand, we're going to sit here and turn this place into Russia, and it's going to be your fault. They got movements together. There were two socialist parties to sit here and make sure that there was going to be a socialist revolution. And that's why liberalism finally got off its fucking ass and did that. You want to sit here and compare, what happens when we have the movements together versus when we don't? Look at FDR versus Obama. Obama didn't have the movements. We just expect him to do good when he's a corporate Democrat that believes in the very same bullshit that FDR was saying. Well, it works, but we're gonna have to take a whole bunch of money from rich people, because if not, we got a whole bunch of pissed off, poor people that are gonna sit here and take us all out. They scared the shit out of them. That's exactly how politics works. You scare the shit out of the rich. Oh, Bin Laden is dead too. And yeah, they took pictures, but they threw him out of a chopper. Yeah. If you want to see if Bin Laden is alive, Bin Laden was pretty much dead. And you gotta... Let's see, what was his name? Hershey Walker or something like that? That's exactly who does that. Links be dead, yo. Yes, they do. Comrade Horace. LSR seems like he's an alright guy, but he's fallen too deep into ID poll. That being said, Sargon's Twitter response was filthy. It was dirty. Sargon really pisses me off with some of his intellectual dishonesty. I had a lot of things to say about his ignorant, flippant attitude about Ferguson, and then what he does basically is the exact same thing. Like, let me explain. When he talked about Ferguson, I have a lot of knowledge about it. But what he did fail to realize is that Ferguson has had these problems for over 40 years. 40 years. If we talk about the UK and Britain, then he sits here and wants to jump to the defense of Britain and say, well, it's hard to live as a poor person. But he can't sit here and stretch out what he means to black people here in the United States, because he doesn't know a damn thing about the United States. It's just like when he was trolling for fucking bait when he went to do that stupid university thing. That was basically what he was doing. He was baiting, and the one that sat here and caught something was LSR. I thought about doing a video to him, but the fact of the matter is, if I do a video, he's not going to sit here and see it. He's not going to respond to it. He's going to sit here, take the first 5 minutes, say, well, I'm going to just ignore the rest of what you have to say, and then, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. It's just to get a response and a reaction out of things, instead of actually sit here and look to resolve what's the problem that he created first. That petition that he made was a stupid fucking thing to do. It was very stupid. You don't know a damn thing about the university system. You don't know a damn thing about the administration. You don't know a damn thing about what the students are going through. But somehow, magically, all of this is the problem because of social justice bullshit. And then, after you sit here and talk about the social justice bullshit that has been going on, you don't talk about the state funding that went into the colleges. You don't talk about the problem that all of these colleges have basically had all their money gutted out of them and given to the administration. You don't talk about a damn thing to sit here and try to figure out what is going on in these damn colleges. But let's sit here and let's talk about how the censorship is, how much censorship you're doing, because basically the one thing that you want to do is you want to point your damn finger at social justice, wag your little finger, and then sit here and say, that's the problem. This is the problem. We're teaching all these people social justice. How the fuck do you know that, Sargon? Stupid. So, yeah, LSR had a point, but then how incredibly dishonest Sargon is, I kind of knew it was coming, but the fact of the matter is, he's just full of it. So, Comrade Yui, please tell me you're joking. I'm not entirely sure Bin Laden after 1990s was even a real person. Pure ideology. Damn, I can't even sniff right now. My nose is so stopped up. So, yeah, let's ban SJWs from university. And then just think about that for a second. If you ban the damn class, they're going to fight to get the class reinstated. They're going to have a stronger case. They're going to reinforce their own pure ideology. And then what does that solve? It creates more conflict for him to talk about and make more money. So it's like, All he wants to do is sit here and talk. He wants to have something to talk about on his This Week in Stupid videos, and that's all he really wants to do. He just wants to sit here and make more money for himself because, well, I gotta sit here and keep making videos, and the best way is to keep feeding red meat to all these right wingers and, you know, liberal fundamentalists that are gonna sit here and keep me fed. All about the dollar bills, man. That's what it boils down to. That boy hoard himself out. Comrade Horace, know that feel. Yeah. Just frustrating. Comrade Horace. Not to mention, if it works, it sets a precedent of banning whatever politics you think is garbage. Well, it's not even that, but he's saying, well, let's have free speech here, but we can't have free speech in universities. So, like Comrade Yui was saying before, it's beyond hypocritical, but this is the type of shit that they do. And it's like, y'all don't even see the contradictions as you practice this reactionary politics. It's like, yeah, exactly, Comrade Horace. It just sets blood in the water for any group to start bitching. And why in the world do you want to set off all these liberal fundamentalists? And yes, let's call them a cult of liberals, because that's exactly what the SJWs are. They're postmodernists. They don't have class analysis or class understanding. They'd rather sit here and talk about identity. Identity politics and class struggle are like oil and water. They really don't mix. But someone that's trying to fight on the identity level can't necessarily fight on the class level. Now, in terms of Black Lives Matter, I think that generational gap is also a poverty gap, but I'm a little bit more lenient on them because a lot of what they say, you know, outside of the movements is to sit here and work for that, you know, class divide, but they have to sit here and fight for this race divide that has been, you know, a problem for the last 400 friggin' years. So that's why I'm a little bit more lenient on them, but I still have to criticize them for what they do, right, wrong, ugly, and otherwise. You know, some of the things such as, you know, criticizing Hillary Clinton for her super predator comment, that was a good thing. Some of the things I don't agree with. So it is what it is. I don't know. It's just one of those things that just sets me off a little bit. It's like he doesn't want to understand how things go or how things could be changed for the better. He'd rather just bitch about them and act like the very schoolgirls that he criticizes. That's how I see it. It's just pure hypocrisy, along with pure ideology. So, alright. Comrade Horace, do you think that Hillary will win the general? How her negatives are going? I mean, Donald Trump is like 3. In the latest poll, Donald Trump basically, Hillary Clinton beats Donald Trump by like 3. Like 3 points. 3 points. She has so many negatives. Nobody wants her. They remember the 90s and they're like, no. I think even Chelsea Clinton, when she comes in, she's going to have to deal with all of that baggage. Just like Jeb Bush. Nobody wants a dynasty and nobody wants the Clintons anymore. They've overstayed their welcome. So it would be, okay, do you give us Bernie Sanders or do you give us Donald Trump? It's all up to the DNC. They've picked wrongly before. They picked wrongly with Henry Wallace, and then Harry Truman dropped the bomb. They picked wrongly with McGovern, and they didn't recover after that one. So pick your poison. If the DNC decides to pick Hillary, a lot of people are going to be leaving the party. Some going to go to Trump, the independents that are frustrated, they're going to go to Trump. There's a lot of people going to the Green Party. Not a lot is going to stay with Hillary. Comrade Yui. Sargon's thing was also hitching onto the whole STEM versus humanities debate, where you have a lot of right-wing STEM fags in the West having a backlash against the humanities in colleges where they think that most of the SJWs reside. It's not even about that. If you look at that demagoguery video that I made, this actually has a lot to do with the difference between Albert Einstein as well as, what was the guy's name? I'm drawing a blank right now, but I think his name was Bergson. You should definitely check out the video and check out the links in there. But that's a lot to look into. I saw it a lot during my classes. Well, yeah. What gap got smaller? Comrade Horace, what gap got smaller? I'm not sure I'm following what exactly you're saying. Are you talking about the pay wage gap? Because if you're talking about that, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about here. My stream is lagging hard. That one I can't help. I have a green light here. But I am sorry, yo. I can only do the best that I can. So what I will do, I will take down 2 of the pictures to ensure that you can have a faster stream. Well, okay, I'll make it 3. So that way you can look at a cutie for a while. The gap got smaller, yes. She was, what, 10 points ahead in the latest one? She was 3 points ahead. A lot of people don't like a corporate sellout. And when they called her a corporate whore, I mean, for the most part, a whole bunch of things have basically stuck. And Clinton, running just on the issues, she basically defeated herself. Hopefully that helps. So, too many pictures, I guess that really messes you up. So, sorry about that, but I figured put something in there so y'all can see that I'm here. But let's see, not a lot of people like Hillary. So that's why the burn your bus movement, I mean, it did damage, because Hillary Clinton has done a lot of things wrong. I mean, in terms of all the baggage that she's holding, remember, this is the woman that sat here and okayed the coup in Honduras. Berta Cáceres, the woman that just recently died like a month ago, she had a lot to say about Hillary Clinton. Not only that, you got to think about when Haiti wanted to get a pay raise from 21 cents to like 61 cents. Hillary Clinton with the State Department was saying, well, you have to sit here and settle for 34 cents. So she was doing that triangulation there. And she was doing it against a minority group in Haiti. Haiti is still having that earthquake. They're still feeling the ramifications. They have the Dominican Republic sitting here and transferring all the Haitians onto the left side of the island because the Dominican Republic. I mean, it just gets more and more ridiculous. Then on top of that, you have to sit here and think about how she wants to intervene in Libya, Syria, as well as every other place in the Middle East, not only for Israel, but also to basically do regime changes all over the place. These are the same regime changes that haven't worked in Latin America. So she is really not she has been showing herself to be a very strong war hog. And a lot of people are saying, screw this, I'm done. The right wing can't stand her, especially after 25 years of attacks. There's so much baggage from the 1990s, it's beyond ridiculous. I mean, they have scandal upon scandal upon scandal upon scandal. They have 3 or 4 different scandal gates. I thought Richard Nixon had Watergate that was going from 1950s to 1970s. No, they sat here. The Clintons hit this guy to shame. They have the Hillary Victory Fund where basically she gets to keep 63% of the cash that is going through. Going for the DNC, she gets to keep 63% of the cash for herself. They don't get money for charity. They are the charity. They are like very, very rich people that really don't need all that money that they've been getting, but they sit here and hold so much, for the corporate elite is beyond ridiculous. And this is what Hillary Clinton basically wants to do. Yeah. If you get me on 63%, I'll show you. I'll show you the video. You can look at it later. But let's see. I will go to the Benjamin Dixon show. But yeah, she has her own little damn plantation. The Hillary Victory Fund. If you look at that thing, it's ridiculous. Hillary Victory Fund. What is the Hillary Victory Fund and how you can donate $350,000? This is where I got my argument. And that's going to be in basic info. Since I can't send it through the chat, I'm going to sit here and send it through this. So, yeah, it's ridiculous. That woman, for all intents and purposes, does not need to be our next president. We'll be in World War III by the end of the first 2 years. I mean, I was already tired of Obama. But for this, I mean, it's beyond ridiculous. But it has been an hour. I'm sorry. I'm getting sleepy. It's 12 o'clock. I'm going to be sitting here going to bed pretty soon. Do you think that Syria is going to heat up again soon, or do you think it's going to start pulling to an end? I mean, that's up to Obama and Saudi Arabia. And for the most part, it looks like that's going to be the way that they basically do it. In terms of Syria, it's a proxy war. It's a lot of saber rattling by Obama to sit here and distract from the fact that we don't have good domestic policies. And basically, he keeps getting us closer and closer, and they're getting ground troops. And he doesn't want to do ground troops. But I know if Hillary Clinton gets in, she just wants to send us to war. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, if they can keep that going, that's what they're going to try to do as much as possible. So, look at the Hillary Victory Fund. If you have any questions, just let me know tomorrow. I will be here 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So, see you next time, and have a good night.